My dad, Cyril Peters, had such an interesting life, and he meant so much to so many people. He was loved and respected by everyone who met him. He even had a special affinity with animals who would just come up to him and sit with him. They just knew he was kind. Cyril was born on the 25th of March 1932 to Lily and Joseph Polsky. He was the middle child with an older brother Leonard and a younger sister Beatrice. However, Cyril was not the typical middle child. He was the sensible one. As a young boy of 12, he joined the St. John's Ambulance Brigade to help with casualties during the Second World War. He would cycle from place to place to help whoever he could. He proudly did his national service as part of the Royal Artillery Company in Germany, and after completing his national service, he was put in the Honourable Artillery Corps. He decided to study at night school to become a quantity surveyor, taking 3 buses there and 3 buses home 4 times a week. As a teenager, Cyril would watch Arsenal and Spurs play football every week at White Hart Lane, but he was a gooner. He loved Arsenal, and I know how much he enjoyed going to watch football matches with Brian and discussing Arsenal with Miles. Cyril was very much the ladies' man, but when he met my mother Barbara on a very cold and snowy evening in February 1962, he was smitten. There was an instant attraction between them both, and Cyril proposed marriage quickly, and they decided to get married on the 28th of October 1962, although their marriage nearly didn't go ahead because of the Cuban Missile Crisis. They had a wonderful, happy marriage that lasted 58 years. I was born in February 1965, a year after they lost their firstborn. Barbara and Cyril decided to try and see what life would be like in the USA, and they found that life was fun and successful for both of them. My mum Barbara became pregnant with Brian, and Cyril was called up for Vietnam, so they decided to return to the UK. Brian was born in August 1967, and they were delighted that now their family was complete. Cyril enjoyed a successful career in the building industry. He was responsible for the first police computer building being put up in Hendon, and his name was the first put in the computer. He was also responsible for other prominent buildings being put up in London, the Society for Obstetricians and Gynecologists, amongst others. He was also introduced to the Queen outside one of these buildings. He was also part of an initiative to put central heating into council blocks in London. In later years, Cyril became an arbitrator and expert witness and enjoyed mediation, with my mother Barbara typing all his lengthy reports. Until the latest pandemic, my father had regularly attended Stanmore Shaw. He loved going every week so much. He was also a mason and enjoyed his work at Lodge. Cyril absolutely adored his grandchildren, so when Sasha, Holly, Miles, Aaron and Kayla came along, he couldn't be happier or prouder. He just loved them all so much and enjoyed watching them in their school plays, taking them out, spending time with them. He enjoyed watching Sasha and Miles play football. Cyril often said how much he enjoyed kicking a football with Sasha, Miles and Aaron. He loved spending quality time with Holly and Kayla when they were last in Israel together. And I know he was really looking forward to Holly and Darren's wedding. Cyril loved his daughter-in-law Melanie and son-in-law Mark and was proud of them both and all their achievements. In later years, my parents enjoyed many cruises around the world, and Brian and Melanie bravely took them for their final trip to Tel Aviv in Israel, which they both really enjoyed, and I know it meant a lot to them. My parents enjoyed playing bridge together too. My dad was such a joker. Once he got stuck in the lift where he lives, and whilst he was waiting to be freed, he took selfies of himself. Cyril was famous for his stories and talking about his life experiences. We all had heard his stories a million times and could recount them for him. I know we will all miss hearing his storytelling. I am sure now he is reunited with his parents and his loved ones, his brothers and sister, that he hadn't seen for many years, and he is now in heaven. Cyril will be forever missed and always in our thoughts and in our hearts.